Today, on Guess What I Found Out, we are going to meet a carnivore that looked at a life of hunting, ferocity and respect, and chose instead to sit on the ground and eat salad for 14 hours a day. Meet the giant panda, or as we are calling them today, the bamboo grifters, because this animal pulled off the greatest con in the history of the bear family. Pandas are bears, real bears, fully paid-up members of the family Ocydae, related to grizzlies and polar bears and the whole terrifying lineup. And yet one branch quietly quit the predator business, put on a fuzzy black and white tuxedo, and convinced 8 billion humans to adore it. Honestly, respect. If you enjoy learning that your favorite cuddly animal is secretly a meat-eater in a very convincing costume, do me a favor and subscribe to Guess What I Found Out right now, because we do exactly this every single week. Let us rewind a few million years. The panda's ancestors were ordinary, omnivorous bears, the kind that would happily eat a fish, a berry, or you. Then, somewhere around 7 million years ago, they started nibbling bamboo, and by about 2 million years ago, they were all in, fully committed to the green stuff. And here is the genetic smoking gun. Around 4.2 million years ago, the gene that lets most carnivores taste umami, that rich, savory, meaty flavor, simply broke in the panda lineage. It is called TAS101, and in pandas it is a dead gene, a little fossil sitting in their DNA. The bamboo grifters did not just give up meat. They literally lost the ability to enjoy it. Now, people always ask which bear the panda is closest to, expecting something cuddly like a sun bear. The honest answer is actually more interesting. The panda is not especially close to any of them. It branched off from the rest of the bear family first, roughly 19 million years ago, before grizzlies, before polar bears, before any of the modern crew showed up. So the panda is less of a cousin and more of an eccentric great-great-uncle who left the family early and started his own very strange branch. But here is where it gets strange. You have probably heard of the red panda, that adorable russet creature that also eats bamboo and also has a thumb. Surely they are related. They are not. The red panda is not a bear at all. It sits in its own completely separate family. The two pandas independently evolved the same bamboo lifestyle and the same odd little thumb, totally separately, which is evolution's way of telling us that if you commit hard enough to eating bamboo, the universe hands you a starter kit. Speaking of that thumb, it is one of the great cheats in the animal kingdom. A panda paw has 5 fingers, like any bear, which is gloriously useless for gripping a slippery bamboo stalk. So the panda grew a 6th digit, a fake thumb, out of an enlarged wrist bone called the radial sesamoid. It is not a real finger, it has no joints, it is basically a padded, bony nub, and it works beautifully. Pair that with jaws and molars strong enough to crush bamboo like celery, and you have a purpose-built bamboo processing machine. But here is the panda's dirty secret, and it is, well, a big one. After all that evolving, the panda never upgraded its gut. Inside, it still has the short, simple, digestive system of a carnivore. No giant fermentation chamber like a cow, no multi-stomach plumbing, nothing built for plants. So, it is genuinely terrible at digesting the one thing it eats. A panda absorbs only about 17% of the bamboo it swallows. The rest goes straight through, which means it has to eat constantly, up to 38 kilograms a day for as long as 14 hours, and then, charmingly, visit the toilet up to 40 times a day to keep the conveyor belt moving. Which brings me to today's question, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments. If you had to survive on a single food that you can barely digest, what would you pick, and tell me why? Because I need to know whether Curious George chooses something sensible or just commits to pizza and accepts the consequences. This bamboo obsession reshaped almost everything about the panda. Unlike its relatives, it does not hibernate because bamboo is around all year, so there is nothing to sleep through. It has vertical, cat-like slit pupils instead of the round pupils of other bears, which is part of why the Chinese name for it translates to big bear cat. It sits upright, like a person at a picnic, so its hands are free. And to survive on such a hopeless diet, evolution shrank some of its energy, hungry organs, and dialed its metabolism down to less than half of what you would expect, turning the panda into the most efficient couch potato in the forest. It also kept its predator instincts on a low simmer. That last 1% of the diet can include eggs, fish, and the occasional rodent that wanders too close. The grifter still remembers the old life. It just cannot be bothered most days. If a carnivore quietly abandoning the hunt sounds familiar, it should. We watch the same plot twist with the firelight freeloaders, our dogs, who traded the wolf life for a warm spot by the fire. The panda just took it further and quit meat altogether. And if you want the full rap sheet on these creatures, we already did an entire episode on the bamboo grifters back on March 11th. Stuffed with stories I am not repeating here. This video is loaded with even more fun facts. So once you are done, go dig that earlier one out of the back catalogue and double your panda knowledge. Here is a fact that honestly should not be legal. A newborn panda is about the size of a stick of butter, roughly 1/900th of its mother's weight. And it arrives pink, blind and hairless, one of the tiniest newborns relative to mum of any placental mammal on Earth. Which, you know, leaves the biggest mystery of all. Why do we love them this much? The answer is that pandas are quite accidentally hijacking your brain. Decades ago, a scientist named Konrad Lorenz described something called baby schema, the exact set of features that make us melt. A big round head, large eyes, a flat face, a chubby, clumsy body. It is the blueprint that makes human babies irresistible, so that exhausted parents keep caring for them. Pandas, completely by accident, tick nearly every box. The oversized head, the roly-poly body, those famous black eye patches that make their eyes look enormous, the clumsy tumbling. Your brain looks at a panda and just screams, "Baby, must protect," and well, you are powerless to argue. And that ridiculous charm may have actually helped save the species. After decades of conservation work in China, the giant panda was downgraded from endangered to the slightly less alarming vulnerable, with wild numbers climbing back toward roughly 1900, and more than 2,700 alive worldwide once you count the breeding centres. They are not out of the woods, though. The woods themselves are the problem, because habitat loss and a warming climate still threaten the bamboo they simply cannot live without. But for once, the trend line points the right way. So, here is where we hold and hand off. The giant panda is a former predator that lost its taste for meat, grew a counterfeit thumb, kept the wrong stomach, and accidentally weaponized cuteness so effectively that humans built it nature reserves and printed it on coins. It is not lazy, and it is certainly not stupid. It is the strange and brilliant result of evolution backing itself into a bamboo-shaped corner, and then somehow making it work. If that rewired how you see these fuzzy little con artists, hit like, subscribe to Guess What I Found Out, and stick around, because there is always another creature out there hiding a secret, and I have already found the next one. See you there, Curious George.